Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 263 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
Yep, and my name is Barbara. Still.
Yep. I'm glad you agree my name is Elvis.
I'm happy your name is Elvis.
You know, it's done me pretty good.
I bet it has. You're famous now in so many ways.
So, what's happening down in Florida? Last week you were crazy busy. You could barely give me 2 minutes of your time.
Same.
What's this week like? Same.
But I'm excited because even though this releases on Monday, Easter's this weekend. It's my favorite holiday, or one of them, because it's all about chocolate and jelly beans and pinks and purples and fun times. So I just went to the store and bought my kids baskets, even though they're well over the age. I still love it. I just love it.
You still give your adult son Easter gifts?
Well, yeah, I got him an Uber freaking gift card because he always eats Uber. So yes, I do. And chocolate and baskets. Oh, yeah.
Jeez, you go all out.
I will until I am not alive.
I didn't even remember it was Easter. So
Damn, now you know.
There you go. I got to up my game.
Yeah, so I hope all our listeners had a fantastic holiday.
Well, of course.
I'm going to.
So, as I've been kind of hinting and telling people that this year I'm expanding my dental knowledge.
I love that.
2023 has been a big growth. I went through PTC. We'll talk about that in a second. I went to a course to do characterization on zirconia and PMMA.
Oh, yeah, I saw that online.
And I got to design my first digital denture this week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was super excited. It was totally unplanned. So, you know, I live in Indianapolis. I work out of a lab out of Louisville. And this week I was heading down there to do a conversion. I had a double arch conversion scheduled, and I usually got to leave the house at like 6 in the morning to get down there in time. It's about 2 hours away. 20 minutes away from this office, they call me, and they had to cancel it because of the patient. Apparently, you're not supposed to take aspirin the morning of doing a conversion.
Yeah, you might bleed out. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
So this guy decides to pop a couple aspirins, and I have a whole day free. So being 20 minutes away, I decided to head to the lab, and the lab manager, Basil, was like, well, if you got the whole day, let me teach you digital dentures. And it was kind of cool. Yeah, he did one, and then I did two, and then I've done one today, the day after. And
is it actually going in the mouth, or were you just around?
Well, at first I thought I was just around, but after he looked at it, did a few tweaks, he's like, well, this is good to print. And I'm like, wait, you're going to use this?
Fantastic.
He's like, yeah, it looks good. I was like, all right.
See?
I'll put your name on it just in case. I'm like, yeah.
In case anything goes wrong. Good for you. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, I was super excited, you know. It's funny, and I talk about it a lot in this recording that we did, but you know, you're in an industry for 15 years, you never really get to do this stuff, and then
all of a sudden
opportunities present themselves.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Maybe one day you'll be a dental technician and not in sales.
Maybe. I'm going for my CDT next.
I know you are. My hat's off to you. I love it.
Can you believe that it's been 6 weeks since LMT Lab Day Chicago?
Oh, man, that flew by, literally.
It seems like it was yesterday.
It was, pretty much, but 6 weeks.
But it also, at the same time, feels like it was years ago. So it's kind of weird. But we were there that whole weekend recording in the Ivoclar Grand Ballroom.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Yeah, let me tell you, Ivoclar hooked us up.
Big time.
Yeah, we had a great spot, this beautiful, like, high-top wooden table, and these great beanies that we were able to give out to anybody that stopped by.
And everybody loved them.
I'd still wear mine if we weren't getting up into the high 60s now.
Oh, you're actually at 60, are you? We're at almost 90. Just saying.
Shut up.
Okay.
But during that weekend, we talked to a ton of people. Now, this is the first episode where we're going to start releasing all the recordings.
Finally.
That we got. Yes, I know it took a while for us to catch up.
Uh-huh.
Now, we're not releasing them in any particular order, Most of them I've kind of bundled together in order to fill that whole hour. But we're starting with a very special recording. So this week we talked to Allie Williamson.
Love you, Allie.
Allie has actually been on before, and this time she's coming on to update us on a very special task that she has set out to do.
Props.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So you see, Allie has a lot of dental lab experience, but she also has the gift of teaching. She's been a full-time trainer at a couple different big labs, but after some life changes, she finds herself and her husband, Mark, back in the Midwest, and Allie is unemployed. So Allie sets off to take teaching dental lab technology to the masses. Now we're going to let her tell you all about the amazing things she's offering. And during the conversation, it actually comes out that I signed up for one of the one-on-one classes with her.
Yes, it did.
And I can personally say it was one of the best uses of my time and money to learn from her something that I really never took the time to learn properly. And that is basic
posterior anatomy.
Basic posterior anatomy. I can't even say it.
You can't even say
but
it.
Now I can draw a posterior anatomy tooth.
Right.
So join us from the Ivoclar Ballroom at Lab Day Chicago 2023 with Allie Williamson.
If efficiency and performance are what you are looking for in a milling system, then the high-performance PrograMill PM7 from Ivoclar is the right choice for you.
Equipped with a high-performance spindle, this high-powered 5-axis milling machine efficiently produces both wet and dry restorations. Ivoclar provides white glove delivery service, training, choice of service contracts, and their outstanding after-sales service and support.
So contact your friendly Ivoclar sales representative today and create a digital solution that's right for you. And just an FYI, I have this awesome PM7 mill in my laboratory, and I can vouch that it's an amazing machine.
And as always, we appreciate your support of the podcast, Ivoclar.
Hey, it's Candulor from Switzerland. We have been designing teeth since 1936. Successful tooth design knows only one benchmark: your own standards and those of your patients. Discover our tooth line PhysioSet TCR with new 18 anterior molds, manufactured specially for the US market and your daily work at your bench. If you are looking for new options in removable, get to know us at candulor.com and find out more. You will be supported and supplied by our authorized dealer, Edmunds Dental Supply. Candulor. High-end only.
Voices from the bench. The interview.
Yay, he signed it.
Oh, he did sign it. This guy's a good dude right here.
I've seen
telling
it.
you.
Yeah.
Nice sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Digging
Love
digging the threads.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a sweatshirt, but it's not blue. It's back there and a shirt. Yeah, and I bought my son one.
They're
and-
nice.
yeah.
They are nice.
All right, we got business to do.
We
Are
do.
you ready?
Allie Williamson,
Yes, that's
CDT, TE.
Oh, it goes
Half.
on and on,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, wait, there's more?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. AAS, BS.
What is
that
that?
for? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So, Allie, you're half of my favorite couple
Yes.
in dentistry.
Oh, thank you.
I love you and Mark.
Thank
you guys are
you.
amazing. I love you, love you, love
He
you.
is my better half. I gotta admit.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that. You're pretty
You
amazing.
You guys are
Oh,
like perfect.
thanks.
Maybe you guys
Yes.
kill each other at home when no one's watching,
I
but
think so.
on social media and to all of us, and that shows you guys seem like the perfect couple.
Oh,
Well,
yes, totally.
I think what happens is that we love what we do.
Get you a little
So,
closer.
can you hear me?
Yep,
Can you hear
perfect.
me now?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I think we both love what we do. We're passionate about what we do it, and it just shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, and what's nice,
And you love each other.
Well, and we love
And
each
that
other.
really,
Yeah.
really.
And it Well, brings us
don't forget that.
together.
Yeah, but you can see it.
Right.
I mean,
because
sometimes when you're married, for that long or for any amount of time, you don't really like each other, but you can see it with you two.
I always thought that in fact, at one time we were married to people that weren't technicians. and they don't get it.
No, they do
Did
not.
you say you guys were both married before?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So Mark was married, and he was married longer than I was. He was married for I guess 9 years or so.
Yeah.
And I was married for 3. And
to non-technicians, both
non-technicians, and I don't think it would have worked anyway because it's just that the life of a technician is very demanding.
Oh yeah.
Very, very
Emotionally.
Emotionally, mentally,
yes.
and physically. I mean, we're always at work, right?
Well, for me, it's the other half just doesn't get it. Why are you so passionate about teeth?
Yeah.
What's the deal? Why do you always have to be talking about it? Why are you always looking at it? Even my wife before this convention, she's like, does everybody post about going to Chicago? I'm like, heck
Hell
yeah, they do.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. This is like the mecca of dental technicians right now. So yeah,
and it's jamming.
It's
this
awesome.
year. There's people
we're
everywhere.
Back. We're back and we're strong.
Yeah.
You know, I did. I was doing some research and I read in one of the journals or something that dental technology is one of the fastest growing professions in our country right now. I mean, above anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting noticed by people that are in the corporate world.
It's because of a podcast.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Well, yeah. But the thing is that I think when I read the article at the time, there was, 86,000 job openings in the country, and there's only 36,000 technicians, and it was like, okay, how are we going to fill all these other jobs?
Everybody's looking for people.
Everybody is looking, and it's hard. It's hard to find people because a lot of lay people don't even know about this profession.
Mm-hmm.
I know dental staff that don't know about our profession.
Right.
Really?
I don't know if they.
That's crazy.
That's bad.
It is bad.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
And
you talk to a hygienist or something, they don't even realize.
Wow.
Well, and it's like, you even talk to people. It's like, what do you think? You go to the dentist opens a drawer, and there's a bunch of dentures in there. And let's see if this fits, like a pair of shoes.
Yes.
It's like, let's see if this fits.
Yes.
So,
Is that not how it
I don't
works?
think they realize all that goes
No,
into
they really
it.
don't.
So, I think now we're giving it more exposure, and which brought me to why I wanted to get into what I do now.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
You were in Florida because I remember talking to you, and we were at the Whip Mix.
We were
and we talked about that.
That was
so you
before.
guys,
That was right before,
that was right before
the
you
pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah, we were heading to Florida, and that experience was awesome. Yeah. I really loved living in Florida, and I was, I had the ideal job. And I loved what I was doing. I was a trainer. So I was working in Delray Beach for Peterson Dental Lab.
Yeah.
And I was their full-time trainer and educator. So,
which is rare because laboratories don't invest like they did, which is awesome.
Right.
And I knew that's what you wanted to do.
And that's what I've always wanted to do. And I was always told that I had a certain niche with training and teaching people, that I was able to simplify it in a way that anybody could get it. Yeah. So I ran with it.
How did that happen? Just organically? Like a new
Kind
employee
of.
would come in and everyone noticed that you were really good at just showing them
Pretty much.
what to do?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it happened early on in my career. So I started back in 1989, and I worked for Artistic Dental Studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I worked for them, and I remember I was learning. And then when somebody, new would come on, I'd sit next to them and say, okay, see what you can do. And for whatever reason, I just had the knack for it.
Yeah, some people are good at it.
I guess.
Some people are terrible.
Some
Yeah,
people
some
really
people are
don't like
really-
it, and then if you do like it,
you got to run with it, right? So then from there, I didn't think much of it, and I was just a workhorse. I'm like, come on, let's get this work out. And, got pretty good at being a technician, and then just escalated from there. And it wasn't until I moved my career over towards Ottawa Dental Lab that they noticed that I had a certain, ability to be able to train people. So they needed a trainer, and then
Did they create this role for you?
No, they always had a trainer.
Did they really?
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
So they had a trainer, Vicky Stacy, CDT. She was their trainer, and she retired.
Okay.
So after she retired, they kind of did away with the training thinking, and a lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of labs did away with the training thinking, you know what, we really don't need it. You know, it's like we got all these other resources, and now with digital technology, we have AI, and that'll take care of things. Remember when everybody thought that?
Like,
we all thought
we need brains, y'all.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
We'll just
brains
hire
and
gamers.
skills.
Right, and that's well, we thought
My
that,
old
right?
boss thought that.
We
talked
a lot
about that.
and maybe some people still think that way, but we learned quickly that wasn't the case.
Yes. Yeah,
So
no
they knew that they had to resurrect the training program there. So they asked me to spearhead it. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. So we got a whole training center put together, and it did great. And the problem was, again, just like any other lab, the volume of work was just coming in. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're doing this for our customers.
Yeah.
And it was difficult to merit the time pulled away from the production bench for training. It was a catch-22.
Yeah.
You're kind
trying
of
to win,
like,
but you're losing.
Right, exactly. So you're like, how do you balance that? And it got very, very difficult. So, you know, and you know, they did the best they could, but I saw that they were training other people to train too. So it was a good thing. Well, it wasn't until Mark and I, we had been in the business for many years, and we decided, you know what, we need a change.
Yeah.
We just want a change of culture, a change of scenery, a change of everything.
Yes.
Now, you guys know Mark and I are hobby farmers, so we have a farm in
you're what
Illinois.
farmers?
Hobby farmers.
Hobby, okay.
What do you think
I don't know.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny?
I was like, happy farmer?
No.
Hobby farmer?
I went away to Florida for 2 years, and everybody's like, you talk funny.
Really?
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you're not from around. You're from the Midwest, right? Yeah, you have a Chicago accent. And I'm like, yeah, I do. You know, hey, pretty much, you know, born and bred there. So I left for Florida. I tried to work on not sounding so nasally and so, you know. So I come back within seconds. I got the Chicago accent right back, and I'm right back to talking South.
You tried to
Southside,
sound Floridian?
Well,
that's what I sound like, whatever that is, I guess.
Well,
so you cussed a lot?
They would. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding?
He's funny today.
Barb and I, we're like
Thank
twins
you.
when it comes to that. You
Bleep,
know,
bleep, bleep, bleep.
It's just so therapeutic to be able to
whip out an F-bomb.
There you go.
Yeah, there
if
you go.
If it happens.
And then go to the beach.
And then go to the beach and get a tan.
Because we could do it in the
He's
Midwest.
jealous,
You just
you
got
know.
no beach.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you are jealous.
Yes,
I am
he's
a little
jealous.
bit.
That is.
All right.
But, yeah.
So you're
you
down
came
in
back.
Florida.
So now I'm down in Florida, and I am digging it.
Yeah.
I'm loving
Oh,
the
you were all
tropical
over
life.
Facebook at the beach with
Yeah.
the sunset over here.
It was
Oh,
perfect.
yeah.
I'm like living the dream.
Yeah.
So, and my son was taking care of our farm in Illinois. So it's not
Okay.
like we had to sell our
Yeah, I
house.
remember
Oh,
you
nice.
saying you kept
Yeah,
it. And
so
you
we
missed
kept
the horses.
Right, I did. I did miss my babies, my big fur babies, and my little fur baby.
Yeah.
I have pet pigs too.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
I'm
so
coming out there. I want to
oh,
see 'em.
they're lovely. Oh, you need to come on.
I
Then we have
know.
campfires and but I'll probably put you to work too because
That's
there's things to be
cool.
done.
I can do it.
Yes, you can.
I know.
So when we were in Florida, we're like, okay, yeah, we're going to be more active. We're going to be, we're going to do stuff. And as I'm loving Florida, Florida is not very kind to Mark.
Yeah.
So my poor husband, he suffered through some health issues in Florida while we were in Florida, which, they were already set in Illinois, but they just manifested themselves while we were in Florida.
What, the heat and the humidity?
No.
or-
It wasn't anything like that. It was just Mark's unhealthy lifestyle came and caught up with him in Florida. So, and
He
not
had
only that,
surgery. I
yeah,
remember.
well, he had
Bypass?
He had quadruple. Well, it was supposed to be quadruple. So he had open heart surgery.
Oh, wow.
He had bouts with kidney stones, which is just
man.
another ordeal within itself. He broke his neck. In the ocean. We were in
God.
Florida for 2 weeks when we were at the beach, and I might have even posted pictures on Facebook that day when Mark he's swimming in the ocean and a wave catches him. And he slams his head against the seafloor.
Oh, my word.
And he breaks C1, C2, C3
Oh, my
vertebrae.
gosh.
Yeah. Very lucky man. So, and of course, no offense, Elvis, but you men, you guys don't like seeing doctors. So I'm like, I go, Mark, you feel okay? He's like, yeah, fine. I feel good. I just think I sprained it really bad. So he went the whole day thinking he sprained his neck, and it wasn't until the next day he's like, I think something is wrong. We have to go to the hospital. I'm like,
next day,
yeah. After a CT scan, we find out that he broke his neck. We're like, oh, God. And the doctor even said, he goes, you're really lucky. So that was, event number one, and then the kidney stones, and then the heart surgery, and then he had a pulmonary embolism.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was just one thing right after another. So I'm like, oh, my God. And this is all in a span of 2 years. So Mark's thinking, you know what? And it was tough for me because I was alone. We didn't have any family. We didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
So we were like, I wish I had some help. And, I had family come. My son came to help. My nieces came to help. But they can only, come down for a week or so.
Sure,
and I'm like, he's taking months to recover. So it was tough. So what ended up happening is that Mark's like, I think we need to go home.
Yeah.
And, and our family needed us too. And I still have my 94-year-old mother. She wants
That's
to.
awesome.
Thank you. And I love her.
94.
She's probably going to outlive me.
Yeah.
The woman is healthier than a horse.
I love hearing that.
And she and my dad lived with us for many years. My dad passed away, so then she started, I want to go travel. You should see her. She's really spry.
Nice.
So, but then she tells me, she goes, I want to go back to Illinois, but I want to go live with you in Illinois. And I'm like, well, I don't live in Illinois. And then she's like,
Have
well,
you heard
then,
of Florida?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you better hurry up and get your stuff, figured out because I'm going back to the Midwest. I'm like, oh, okay. So things were happening.
So it worked out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay. So, I gave up my dream job. I hated the thought of, having to come back to the Midwest, the cold. And in the okay. We're in South Florida. It's like 87 degrees every day.
He knows.
Who moves back
From
to
that.
the Midwest from South Florida in the middle of winter? Who does that? Us, apparently.
Oh.
Couldn't wait a few months.
No,
Let it warm
evidently
up a
not.
little.
No. We had to go down. I'm like, oh, great. So anyway, Mark ended up getting a wonderful opportunity with a group of prosthodontists.
I was
going to
say, he's with doctors.
Yes. So
prosthodontists are way over. Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
The joke. It's like, what's the difference between God and a prosthodontist? No. God knows he's not a prosthodontist.
That is so true.
So there you have it. So, but actually,
that.
these guys are very, very, down to earth, and they're very humble.
How many does he
and
work
good
with?
people.
How many are in there? Two?
So there's two of them right now, and it's I got to want to make sure I want to get the name right. It's Bay Lakes Center for Complex Dentistry.
Oh.
So it's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So
is he the only technician?
Right now he is.
It's been a long time since he worked by himself.
You know what? And he's loving it.
I bet.
Oh my God.
He's been managing for a long time.
You know what? And that was it. It's like being lab manager. He enjoyed that.
Yeah, sure.
But at the end of the day, it was always putting out fires and dealing with disgruntled
adult daycare.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I'm preaching to to the choir here. You guys get it.
I used to manage people. I love that I don't.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely love it.
And it's and it's a different generation of workers now that we were used to. So you're like, why can't this just be the way I learned? It's like it doesn't.
Oh, they want to know what, where, why.
So yes, it was just it wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
So Mark is in his glory.
He's in Wisconsin, though. How far is that from where you're at?
So it's about 4 hours away from our farm.
So is he
in
living
Illinois?
there? Or
So
how are you doing
here's the deal.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, so Mark, we're going to go back to the farm, and Mom's going to come back to live with me, and Mark's going to go back and forth because he's only working 3 days a week. Okay. And with a full-time salary. And I'm like, it's a no-brainer. It's like, duh. So every day's a 4-day weekend. Rock on. I'll do it.
How did he pull that off?
Right. So, and he earned it. Well-deserved, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, okay, he put his time in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what ended up happening was my son, and so he lives with his girlfriend at the farm.
Yeah.
They made their life at the farm, and they're doing great. And now I feel like I'm going in there and I'm disrupting the apple cart. Right, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to kick them out. It's like they're doing a great job. They're doing wonderfully. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have to be on the farm. If 4 hours away, I can come home to my farm whenever I want. So we ended up getting an apartment in Green Bay.
Oh,
so now we have our own little, love shack.
Yeah.
And things. Everybody is happy.
Yeah.
With you, Mark, and the mom.
Where's your mom? Is she with
my
them?
mom is going to be coming back, but she is seasonal.
Okay.
So she is coming back and, going back
That's
and
nice.
forth between me and my sister, my brother, and my nieces. So we're all sharing mom. And mom's like, yeah, I'm good. And it's like,
That's
wherever
really
I'm
neat.
at. So
Nice.
So she's happy. So when we came back to the Midwest and Mark's now working in Green Bay, I don't have a job.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're like this.
yeah, I'm just
I
like,
need to
okay,
do
first
something.
time since 16 years old, I'm not working. It's like, okay, don't know what to do with myself. And
You're so cute.
so Mark even told me, he goes, well, you don't have to work if you don't want to. It's
And
like,
you're
you
like,
could
hell
stay
yeah, I
home.
do.
And I'm like, yeah, it's not a matter of money now. It's a matter of I got to do something.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, okay, I got some really great support system. I got, you guys. I have, my friends from Florida. They were very, very supportive. Maggie McCafferty, she has a business where she builds dental profession clinics and stuff, so she builds business for them.
Yeah. Wow.
So she was guiding me along, and she's in marketing and all that, so she's telling me, you could do this. And I'm talking to all these people around, the country that know me, and they're like, you really need to do something with training. So I'm like, what can I do? So being a trainer for all these years, I have a lot of the resources all prepared already.
Yeah, I imagine.
And I've accumulated a ton of knowledge, not just through, the books and the programs, but through experience. It's like that right there is priceless. So I'm like, you know what? I think, and for the love of the profession. So what happened is that I'm not out selling an actual product. I'm selling a service.
I know.
So I realized that there were a lot of technicians, and I say that with quotes, that didn't know the basic fundamentals of dental technology. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, how can you be a dental technician if you don't understand physiology, morphology, anatomy? And that, to me, it just didn't correlate. I couldn't figure it out. It's like, how can that be? So I decided that, you know what, let's take this on the road. Let's do what I was doing and throw it out there and see who's interested in learning. Because everybody was telling me, it's like, yeah, everybody is looking for training right now. So, my first mentor and the best mentor I have is my husband, Mark, So, Mark Williamson tells me, you know what, you really need to go out and start maybe teaching people if you want to keep doing something. So I reach out to my other mentors, Bennett Napier and Jim Mahan and all them, and I'm like, you know what, I think I want to do this. What do you guys think? And they're like, yeah, run with it. I'm like, cool. So I threw it out there one Saturday afternoon on Facebook, and the next thing I know, I'm getting people reaching out left and right.
Yes.
So
I was so proud when I saw that. I was like, we need that in our industry. My gosh.
So it is basically a service that I'm putting out there, and I'm trying to make it as affordable and as simple as possible for any working technician, whether they be in the lab or whether they're clinical, because even a lot of us dental assistants have to do some lab work. They're
is it
pouring
more
models
removable,
and stuff.
or is it everything?
No. It's not. So I have different chapters of training. So one of the chapters, I've embraced the whole PTC thing. So I love PTC. Yeah. Love PTC.
I had him on my panel on Thursday. And he's
isn't
amazing.
he wonderful?
Yes. And the system is amazing.
It really is.
Yes.
And it's very effective.
Mm-hmm.
And if I learned anything from Jim, it's how to speak in simple terms so that anybody can understand.
And repeatable.
Right.
And systematic.
Right. And with a metric. Because that's another thing. It's like, it's not random. It's like you could actually measure it.
PTC is what you taught previously at these other labs.
Correct.
So you were already...
Correct.
You've aced it. Yeah.
I already kind of got this in my back pocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. So I can teach all the fundamental courses from PTC. I could do it remotely. I can make it affordable to people because I could group people together.
Yep.
They can get their schedules all figured out. Let's meet on a Zoom meeting on whenever, and I could just go through all the motions, or I could just do it individually.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you don't have to do it in a group. If you'd rather just learn how to do everything, by yourself, it's more effective that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, rock on. It's like whatever. You know, I'll be flexible.
But people like joining in together and learning together or by themselves. It just depends on what kind of person you are. So they have
That's
either
exactly
way.
right.
They can go either way.
That's exactly
But
right.
what's nice is if a lab has a couple people that they need to kind of work with,
They
they
can
could
do that
do
as
that.
well.
Right.
Or if they have one person who individually wants to learn, they can do that too.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't
what I
matter to
did,
you.
I had, and the thing is that it doesn't have to be just lab companies sponsoring their technicians. It could be a technician that just happens to be on Facebook and says, hey, I want to learn more about this. They can put some skin in the game, pay for it on their own, and they can
So let's
commit.
say you have a technician that's been in the industry, I don't know, 10, 15 years. They think they can do a lot. Surgical guides, designing bars. Hey, I've even designed a few abutments, but I couldn't even do a tooth 15 years later because they've had to do so much else. Is this a good place for someone to come in?
Absolutely.
Did I just describe myself?
So, Elvis, here's my card.
Too late.
So,
I've already signed up.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
did.
afraid to
I
admit
want the
it.
card because my son's 25.
When I
and he's
heard
just
Allie was
wanting
doing this, I've never really stopped. I was thrown into a lab like so many people.
Exactly.
Oh, you're educating yourself?
I am.
He's
That's
my first.
phenomenal.
He's my first student.
Wow.
I saw this opportunity, and here I am. Like
I posted
mentioned,
it
so
on
you're
Saturday.
just as jazzed as yes. Are you
15
kidding me?
years
I posted
later.
on Saturday. On Sunday, he calls me. He's like, I want to do this. I'm like, okay.
15 years later,
love
and
you,
I honestly,
Elvis.
I could not design a great tooth because that's not what I did for 15 years.
Right.
But I want to be able to.
Right.
And I think this is a great opportunity for people that have been thrown into the lab, take a step back, get on a Zoom call, whatever time you want to arrange, and get those fundamentals.
Yep.
And even though I'm telling the world right now, I'm nervous to be like, seriously.
Back in school.
No, not so much back in school, to be like, I'm almost embarrassed that I've been doing this for 15 years. And you
Yeah, but
sent me
that's
this
just-
sample.
You're not alone.
She sent me this sample quiz to find out where I'm at. I know I
It's not a
bombed it.
okay.
I
Everybody
bombed
freaks
it 'cause
out
I
with
guessed
this.
I was like, she's like, what's the name of this indicator? I was like, that has a name? I was
It's
like,
a questionnaire.
That's why he needs the course,
when in
though.
doubt, see your way out. That's what I see.
Always C. It's like Elvis. All your answers are C. I don't get it.
I could have stopped and Googled like the answer, but I
Yeah.
was like, no, this is what I know.
Well, and that's just it. You're not helping anybody by doing that. It's like this is, and it's not a quiz. I tell everybody freaks out. It's like, oh, she gives you a test, and I'm like, no, I don't.
I
It's
know
a
it's not a test,
questionnaire.
but I
It's a
just
barometer.
need to assess. Right. I just need to assess how much you know. Because what
And
happens?
then she calls me and goes, I'm going to need more money.
Okay, for you, it's going to be double.
We got a lot of work to do. But if you need me to place an implant on a CBCT scan, I'm great
Oh
at
yeah,
it.
he's got it down.
Oh, he can
It's
talk
like-
implants
weird?
with the
Oh,
best of
yeah.
them, I swear. And you know what you're talking about.
I can call an implant by looking at a screw, but I can't tell you how many cusps.
Now,
on
see,
a-
I can't
on-
do that.
On a
I
lower
can't do
versus
that.
Isn't that
molar.
weird? Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
You can show me a tooth, and which one is it? I'm like, posterior, but I couldn't tell you which one.
But, I mean, I really respect that fact that you
Isn't that
admit
awesome?
it.
I
You
think
gotta
a
reached
commend
lot
him
of
out.
for
people
that.
in our
Yes.
industry are like this. I don't think they understand, but they're just put in a position. I bet you there's people that can stain a crown all day long, but they couldn't tell you how to design
They couldn't tell
one.
you what that tooth was.
Or
they
function.
couldn't tell you. Well, that's just it.
Or
I'm like, you do
contacts,
realize you're making a body part, right?
Yeah.
And you do realize it's attached to a person. So it's going to have to function with
Yeah.
their whole
Yes.
system. So Mother Nature always going to win,
Yeah.
right? So you got to
Yeah,
make
well
sure
said.
that you need to be able to predict the success of this restoration before you even get started.
Yes.
That's why you have a lot of people
Yeah.
treatment plan, and, with the doctors and stuff, and they just don't think that has any merit. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? That's the whole crap.
But you don't
That
just
is
teach
it.
fundamentals,
Everything.
right? I mean,
No.
if somebody already knows that and they want to go somewhere else in their education, you offer that too.
Absolutely. So say, for example, if I have some technicians that are experienced and they
Like
want to,
me.
yeah.
Eye roll.
But they have proven themselves,
Yes.
Yeah.
technically,
Yes.
and they want to get certified. So
Oh, yes.
I will help
Bingo.
them achieve their CDT status. So what happens a lot of times is, and I think we might have talked about this before in one of the earlier podcasts.
Yeah.
But
It's not your first time.
no,
Yes.
ain't my first rodeo,
And it won't be your last.
And that's why we're having so much fun because we're so
Exactly.
comfortable
I
with
Yeah.
each other.
know.
So what happens is that when people want to become certified, they go to the website and the NADL website and they download the handbook or whatever,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they have to get all the
gotta
resources
figure it
together.
out.
No, then they
Right.
go
Yes.
online and ask if anyone has any resources
Right.
for it. And you find someone that has an Air Force manual.
And it's hard to get people to yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm busy. I can't help you.
Yeah.
So what I've done is put together a curriculum to help prepare people to become CDTs.
God, you're like everything I need for my son.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
kidding.
can help them.
I'm in.
Yeah. So what I've done is, taken the handbook, the CDT handbook, and divided it up into not chapters, but into like books. Okay,
Yep.
so every month there's like a book with several different chapters of that topic for that month. It's like a book club, and then
So it's like a CDT study club.
it is.
Yeah, nice.
It's a CDT study club.
I love
so
it.
Dude,
and
we
then
got to get that out.
right.
There are so many labs, even Jim Caruso, my lab, that have like a group of people that want to become a CDT, but
Right.
they have no idea.
Right. Exactly.
And there's
Or-
nothing structured for them, just
Well,
like
and
what
that's
you're
just
saying.
it. And again, they don't have the
Wow.
time to put all that together, and it's expensive.
And
You
they
got to
don't know
buy
where
books.
the hell to
You got
get
to
it.
buy.
And
Right.
I don't mean that in a negative
No,
with the
not at all.
NBC CDT, but a lot of these are young folks, young technicians, and they just don't know where to get it.
Right. Right.
Then you give them the Air Force manual, and they go, "What?"
They go,
is
"Oh my
this?"
word!"
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like an Army manual.
Yeah,
What
and
do you
then
want?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think the most recent Air Force manual is from 2005.
Is it really?
So
Yeah.
it's not very up to date, and our profession is just constantly right.
Yep.
Every day we're catapulting into some new level of technology that what we learned last year is obsolete, and now it's time to learn. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't keep up. But having said that, the fundamentals always stay the same, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So it's like teeth are
Agreed.
always going to be teeth. They have been teeth for the past thousands of years.
Buccal, lingual, occlusal,
It's always been there, right?
gingival, yes,
It's
that's not
always
changing.
been there. So that's never going to change. So that's where we bring back everybody to
Yep.
ground zero,
Yep.
and then where they take it from there, it goes
That's
on.
awesome.
Yeah. So so the CDT group, study group. What I'll do is I'll prepare them for 8 months. I could do it individually. I could do it as a group, whatever. And, every month there's questions. Did you learn this kind of stuff? And I give them a mock CDT exam, comprehensive or specialty, to see if they know the material.
Yeah.
And what they don't know, they know that they need to work on that a little bit more. And if they feel that they scored, decently, and I'll help them
Then they
score
can
and
move
stuff
on.
like that, then they can actually apply. Because again, it's
$500.
expensive,
Yep.
Is
It's
that
like,
how much it is?
Right around.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
For something.
I think it's
But that's
I think
just
it's
for one.
$250
There's-
for the written for each written, and then it's $500 for the practical.
Yep.
So it's $1,000.
So are you going to be able to help people on their practical?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I've done is, because I want to get all my CDTs, right?
Yeah.
So I have multiple, but I need more.
Yeah, you got.
So I've
She has
already.
multiple.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's kinda hot.
Yeah, nice little plug.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
threw that out there. Kudos. Everybody catch that?
Yeah.
I did. But it's not good enough. She knew
Not good enough. I need
Yeah,
more. I
She's
need
an
more.
overachiever in a great way.
So I have the resources and all the study material that I used, and I can just hand it over to whoever needs it. And again, I have the VRGs, so I can help them.
What's VRG?
Visual reference guides.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On how
I learned about that on the panel. I said, "What is that?" And he said, "Well, it shows you the definition and then a visual of exactly what you."
That's
what
correct.
Is that a PTC thing?
Yes.
Or, yeah?
Well, no, actually, that's an NADL thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing about. So I've been able to combine PTC with Air Force Manual because it's almost two different languages.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I give the example of Android and Apple.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Understood.
it's like some terminology is
they all
it's the
call
same
it an
thing,
app, but they all charge different.
right? It's all the same, but they call it different stuff.
Yeah.
So I try to explain that as I'm training people too.
Yep.
So if you hear this term,
It's
it means this term, and
That's
vice
great.
versa. So I try to bring that.
But what do? You zoom in and they work with you, like
No,
hands-on?
I'll give them the guide, and then they'll practice. It's like obviously it's going to be similar. It's not going to be the actual exam. They're going to practice doing what they do. Then I can check it, and I could see, okay, you know what? It's like you might want to focus more on this particular landmark.
So instead of mailing
whatever.
it in to the judges for the test, they mail it to you.
Oh, they
to
don't
get
even
the
need to
feedback.
mail it. I could probably look it over.
Oh,
yeah,
on Zoom
on Zoom or
Oh,
something.
wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So and it's just by the time a technician is ready to do the practical exam, they know what they're doing. It's like
hope,
it's
yeah.
not. I would hope too. In my opinion, I think. Well, at least when I took the exams, I thought the practical part was the easy part. It was the written part that I had
I've
to study
actually heard
for.
that.
Yeah,
Same here, and that's what I keep telling my son. If you don't study for it, you'll never learn it.
Right.
And that's what I love about certification is that you have a skill, just like what you're talking about, but you don't get all of that knowledge unless you study for it.
Well, and that's just it. And you got to implement it, too. So one of the things that I like doing when I train, whether it be PTC, Air Force Manual, whatever, I want my students to succeed, right? So their success is going to be my success.
Oh, yeah.
So if I give them a test, a quiz, or whatever, I do not want them to memorize anything because it'll be gone within a minute. It's like, okay, I memorized it for the test, but now I can go back to my workbench and not apply anything.
It.
So I tell them, I'm going to give you a questionnaire. But when I give you this questionnaire, you also have a workbook in front of you that I gave you to study. I gave you models, of individual teeth or of the arch. I gave you diagrams. I gave you pictures. I gave you all the resources you need to succeed. Those people can use those resources at work, at the bench. Why can't they use it for a questionnaire? I'm thinking,
why can't I use a calculator when I do math tests in high school? I'm still angry about that. I can use it in real life, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm like, I want them to succeed.
Am I going to get models?
Yes, you're going to get models.
Oh, I'm excited.
You're going to get. You're going to get STLs. So if you want to print them,
I
so you're going to see them on the screen and stuff. And,
I'll print them.
Yeah. So
look at him. He's all excited.
I'm excited.
You are excited. Look at you.
It's
I'm a
super
little
genuine
nervous.
too. I love it.
But because I haven't been in a school setting learning like that in a long time. But I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing it outside of the lab.
So he's investing in himself, which is, I think a lot of technicians want to do that.
Oh, they do.
They have no problems doing that.
Yep.
And, again, I need to make it affordable. I was a technician, too. I was a working technician, too. I know what I can afford.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make it to where it's like, oh, yeah, I got to save or I got to take out a second mortgage to be able to go to this class. So I don't want to do that. And I understand that they're working people, too.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to schedule something that is going to interfere with their work schedule.
Yeah, like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's like I can't do that. So I'm open. And since I'm working from home, I could do it in an evening after
That's so
dinner.
great.
I could do it on a Saturday morning.
And usually these classes, buying the class is one thing, but you got to get there. You got to put yourself up after all the dinners. That all costs more than the class.
Oh yeah, no. We could do it in our jammies if we want to.
Oh, you will with this little dog on his lap.
Yeah, me too. I have my little dog with me too, so it works out
She'll
perfectly.
Bark if I'm talking to
She's
anybody.
famous on Facebook.
She is. She is.
She is just so
little spud. Yeah, she's a cutie. Yeah,
I'm not sure about that.
She's just a little
kidding.
cutie patootie. Well, she's a fur baby. Okay.
What is the website? We're talking about this. Everyone's excited. Everyone's on Google, ready to type it in.
DLTtraining.com.
What's the DLT stand for?
Dental Laboratory Technology.
I'm just kidding.
So DLTtraining.com.
That was available?
Yeah, believe it or not.
That's insane.
Again, no one's thought of this. I am like, how is it that was available? It was funny because I was on the phone with my friend Maggie, and she's helping me. And then she goes, well, what do you really want it to be? Because you're going to have a few because I bet you, the very first one, bam. And I'm like, oh, cool.
See, it was meant to be.
I guess so.
Quick, pay your $5 to get it.
Yeah, right? It was so worth it. I'm like, okay, I could do that. So, yes, DLT training. So what I also do is I can do skill training too.
What does that mean?
So I will go on site and I will teach you how to wax a full contour crown.
Nice.
Or I will teach you how to set a full over full denture.
How long does that, like a day?
So typically what it is, I will travel on a Monday.
Yeah.
I'm there for 8 hours, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Wow.
So that's 24 hours. And then I travel back home on a Friday.
So do you teach one person?
Well, I try to. If I'm doing it for a lab, I could do up to 4 people at a time.
That's smart. Don't do it too big.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can't more than that because otherwise then I lose everybody and then I'm just kind of like pushing people along. Come on, hurry up. And I don't want to do that. But some people, are really interested in wanting to do it one-on-one because they want my full attention.
Yeah.
And I do it, and then they mirror what I'm doing. So I'm like, they're just mimicking what I'm doing, and then they, like, surprisingly see, oh, I just set a full denture, and it's in group function. Go figure. I'm like, well, there you go.
That, honestly, we really need that.
So this
I
is
think
great.
You're going to be traveling doing that
because so
a
many
lot.
labs hire those people for removable.
Mm-hmm.
They get them great at bite blocks.
Oh,
they get them great at custom trays.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to move them up to set up, and they can't make that
That's
move.
because there's nobody to
Because they
teach
don't
them.
know, right? They don't
Yes.
know. There's a disconnect there on the actual science now.
In the
It's
lab I
like-
used to work at, we had those people all the time,
Right.
and then they'd leave,
Right.
because
'Cause
they
they
never
get
get
frustrated.
they never get above bite block.
Of course.
And they're like, I don't want
We
to
have
do
one
these
in
all
our
day.
lab right now.
Yeah, see.
And I know her very well, and I'm serious when I say.
So
she would
it's
love this.
different. I mean, because we all know that dental technology is an art and science, right?
Yeah.
So they get the art part down. Oh yeah, it makes my bite rim look really pretty. My base plate, it looks really smooth and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But then when it comes time for the science part, you lose them. You're like, oh, so you're having to use the right side and the left side of the brain
There's
when
two
you're
sides?
done. Oh my
Oh, my
goodness.
God. Very
Oh,
Mine
Watch
mesh in
this.
the middle.
yeah,
and
I
it's
am
just a
going to
mess.
charge you double, man.
You're gonna regret this.
Oh,
we
like,
can talk
dude.
about it on the podcast, how you're doing. And
Yeah.
where
There
you're
you go, your
at.
progress.
We could do
Yeah.
it on the intro.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be
we
like,
could
how you
do
doing,
that.
student?
So, yeah.
You can
So-
quiz me, Barb, and I'll be like, I still don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
it's like, what's
about.
happening here? But,
Oh,
but-
I will.
Yeah.
We have to collaborate, you
Yeah.
and
Oh no! They're
I'm
ganging up on
serious.
me.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
it's what happens. It's what we do. Yeah.
I love it.
So that's
What
what's
about
happening
digital?
right now.
Are you helping people digital?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
How do you even know so much? Jeez.
If you teach it, you'll learn it.
Well, how's the saying go that the devil, the Satan's not wise because of what he knows, but it's because of what he's done. So
Interesting.
something like that.
I
don't
always
know.
go with
My mother
the best
had
way
all
to
these
learn
things.
is to teach.
Well, you can't teach something if you don't know it. So,
Some people try.
well, they try, but or they BS their way to it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's hard to teach people something. They'll know right away
Yep.
if you know your stuff. If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
trying to be, they can tell. It's like this guy or this lady doesn't know
Yeah.
what she's talking about. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay.
Thanks for the pretty
and then you
pictures.
list that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it is
Yeah.
what it is. So what I don't like to segregate analog and digital.
Yeah.
because it's all about the fundamental.
Yeah.
Okay. So I look at it, and I'm really big on, examples and on, what do they call, not metaphors, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of like driving.
Analogy?
Analogies, yes.
It just popped into my head. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, my gosh. And I'm such a grammar stickler, and I couldn't think of the word. So it's kind of like driving a car. So some people know how to drive stick shift. Some people know how to drive automatic. At the end of the day, when you're going down the highway, I don't give a crap what kind of car you're driving.
Stay out of
you
my
just
way.
better be within those boundaries and follow the rules of the road.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. So that's why I don't get too caught up on that whole digital analog thing.
I love it.
It's all about the foundation.
Well said.
So
Yeah.
you're not someone to go to if someone's like, I need to learn 3-shape.
Not yet.
Not yet. But
Not
you're
yet.
getting there.
So my vision is, seeing how this thing takes off, I know that there's a need for a lot more than what I'm able to offer. And I can't be good at everything.
No. True.
So I want to partner with people that are good at other things and have them help me
So smart.
train
I love
train
it. Yeah.
people. Yeah, so it's like I got
So
some
you have
really
your resource, then you have other resources.
Exactly.
So if you need it, you know exactly
right.
how to get it for
So
them.
we're going to work on it with this person
You're
here.
one smart
Wow.
cookie.
Yeah,
lady.
well, you know what? Thank you. It's like I don't know where I even came up with these ideas. They just happened, and I'm like,
Really?
oh my God, I just had an
Yes.
epiphany. So and that's what's happened. So I've already talked to people about doing something, and not just about technology itself. I find that there is a lot of disconnect in leadership skills. And I have a very good friend of mine whose name I'm going to keep private for a minute. She is very good at understanding leadership skills. And she knows how to hold people accountable and make sure they do it in a very professional manner.
Is this person in dental?
Actually, she is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she is one of my... she surprised me. She's one of my students, but when I got to know her, she was teaching me.
Wow.
And I'm like, you are amazing. And where have you been all my life? So
Yeah.
I love her, and I think I think I want to do that eventually. Bring
get
on some
into
type of leadership
yeah.
training too. So that way, you know how to team build.
That
you know how to
technician to management.
exactly. Well, that's just it. Because when you're a great technician, but that doesn't mean you know how to lead people. That doesn't know how how to
we
train.
We talked about that on Thursday, too.
Yeah.
And we always bring up the great technicians and expect them to manage, put them in a position that they were really good technically, and they suck with people.
Exactly.
And it's not their intention to be bad. They just are.
Well, and it
and
kind
there's
of
nothing
happens
to
with
help them grow.
I kind of had something similar to me when Mark and I decided to open up a lab, or I decided to open up a lab. He was like fighting me for it, but eventually he caught on. But I was a great technician. Doesn't mean I was a good business person.
Yeah.
I hated being a business person. I'm like, I am not good
Sound
at
like
this.
a doctor.
And I just kept wanting to give everything away.
Isn't that the
Like,
story of dentists?
I just
it
said
could
she
be.
sounds
Yeah.
like a doctor.
Yeah,
sounds like-
dentists
yeah.
that
That's what
are-
they say.
Yeah,
love
you're-
doing dentistry, but they can't run a
I
practice.
can't.
to save
Right.
their life.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So, and the thing is that then you want to make money, but you're giving everything away, and then you're mad because you're not making any money. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, it's my own fault. I'm my
Yeah.
own worst enemy.
Yep.
So anyway, so that's something that's down the line. That's a vision that I have,
Yeah.
for God knows when. But I figure I'm not going to do this forever. I mean, at some point, I'm going to retire.
No, you're not.
Yes,
You
I
can't.
am. I'm gonna.
Can't.
Oh, believe me. Yeah.
Well, you're not allowed.
You're not allowed.
You just started.
Because there are
It's
so
not
many
happening.
young technicians that are
Oh,
going to get good
and that's
because
why-
of what you're offering.
Well, then let's do this, Allie. Let's make sure part of your plan is to find someone else
That's it.
to take over.
That is
for
exactly
you. If you
it.
want to,
That's a great
I don't want it-
idea.
that
God
is
forbid,
part of
you
my
want to
plan.
stop doing stuff.
That's exactly my thing. Because dental technology isn't going away. It's like as long as people have teeth and they want to eat,
Yeah.
we're always going to
but
have this profession.
Everybody's retired. The removable aspect
Oh,
of what
especially.
we do is
Yeah, we're a
where
dying
I
breed.
worry about that.
Yeah, and
There's
especially with hybrid
that
designs and
knowledge.
all that, it's very, very difficult to find someone who understands
Big
removable occlusion. It's different with fixed because, you have the natural teeth to guide things along and stuff. But when you have completely edentulous patients, yeah, you're talking a total different animal.
Do you recommend they still do fixed occlusion before they do a removal?
I don't think it matters.
Really?
Because it's almost like, and I've always said this, in a dental laboratory, a full-service dental laboratory, if you have fixed and removable, it's like having two labs.
Yeah.
It's two totally different animals.
Yeah.
They even speak a different language. They look at different landmarks. They see things differently.
And those technicians don't understand what the other one does at all.
No. It's funny because I remember training this one girl. She was a crown and bridge technician. And I was teaching her how to set teeth for a surgical stent back then when we were making. Remember how you said? So she would always hold the articulator upside down. Like the lowers were on the top.
Why?
Oh, and I know. I've heard that too.
I'm like, why do you keep turning the articulator over? She's like, well, I'm letting gravity take care of the tooth that I need to place.
Well,
and then I'm like, it does make sense. I had never thought of it that way, but I am like, a light bulb went on in my head. I'm like, oh my God, you think totally differently than at the time I was just a removable technician. And she thought, I'm doing this right.
I didn't really see it at all.
Right. And then I'm like, wow.
No, it'll stick easier if gravity's pulling it into place.
She like totally enlightened me. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool. So so I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
You know, been doing this for 40 years, and I'm still learning stuff every single day. So that's why when you get people that you talk to, it's like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 17 years. I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Still learning.
You are a far better technician than I'll ever be. I don't know anything, I feel like.
I know.
So
well,
that's my story.
I love it.
Thank you
for talking to us.
Yeah, I just hope that, people take advantage of what I have to offer, because I want everybody to be successful. I want this profession to stay strong and to, go on forever, and it will.
Yes.
I just want to offer a little piece of what I can share.
Well, my training starts in a few weeks.
It sure does.
I will give updates and feedback.
You do
every
that.
week.
Live on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
I'll even put a smiley face on your question.
I was going to say, you might want to get that red pin out.
I'll get a little star.
A big F?
Oh. No, we don't.
What's the website again?
DLTtraining.com. Yes.
And
all right.
once they're there,
they can contact me, but I'll give you my email address too. That is DLTtraining123@gmail.com.
that email is taken, but not the website.
Correct.
You had to put the 123 on it?
I had to put the 123.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
go
funny?
figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you guys can call me at 815-341-4562.
Awesome.
And I would rather have a text, because I will text like a 13-year-old
Same
girl. I don't like
Same
talking
here.
on the phone, but I will text all day long. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
Good luck
But,
to
yeah,
you.
but
I
thank
know
you
you're
for
going to
having
kill
No,
it.
me
Allie,
on.
thank you for doing this.
Yes.
Oh, I'm loving it.
I know it's not
I'm
easy
loving
to
it.
start something new, a new
You know,
business.
and it's funny because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm about to be 57 years old and I'm starting a new business. I'm like,
And you're going to
kill
kill
me
it.
now.
Yeah, well.
So I never thought I
love
would
it.
do this again. And I always thought I always swore, I ain't doing that again. I'm like, screw that. But for whatever reason, this is my calling, so here I am.
And, you're
And I
gonna
hope
kill
it works out.
There's
so
nobody better to do it.
I encourage everybody to take advantage
Go check
of
out the
whatever they can.
website.
Yeah, check
Something
it out, see what
something
you
will be
like,
worth
and
checking out.
and even if not, and even current CDTs, they can take advantage of my services too, because I offer CE credits.
Oh, cool.
So
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah, you've got it all.
so I got it all, and
Wow.
in that CDT curriculum thing, I'm even offering regulatory credits, which are
Shut
the hard,
up.
right?
Yeah.
So
So you got a Zoom call talking about boring stuff?
well.
The regulatory FDA,
it's
OSHA.
Well, it's a part of that
Yeah.
month's topics.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's not exclusively about FDA, but it's certainly included.
Yeah.
So therefore, NBC recognizes it that, we're touching base on this.
Nice.
And again, it's the fundamentals
Yep.
of
Yep.
infection control and FDA. So it's not like I'm getting into all this granular stuff. So,
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
You got it.
I
So,
love it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the
Awesome.
meeting.
Yeah, thank
Allie,
you.
thank
And
you
thanks
so
for
much.
what you guys do. Really.
we
You
just
guys
have
are
fun.
amazing.
We
I
love
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
You can tell. You can
Thanks.
tell you love it, and I love
Awesome.
hearing it. So,
Our best to
yeah.
Mark.
All right.
Thank you so much. Yes. And by the way, He's doing great.
Yes.
I know
He's a
he
new
is.
man.
I just saw him.
He's a new man. He's feeling wonderful. He is just. In fact, didn't you, Elvis, just talk to him, and you guys are going to be doing the triathlon?
Well, he mentioned he wants to ride the bike in the triathlon.
Yeah. So
Do it.
they just need a swimmer, Barb. They just need a swimmer for their team. So just saying.
I'm doing the whole thing.
I know you
I
are.
would do it, but
You
I wouldn't do
are.
the swimming part
You-
because that's hard.
Is it?
God,
Yeah, I
I
hear you
hate
got kicked
swimming.
in the face, and people are splashing
Last
all over
week
you.
or last year, I almost choked to death. Drank way too much water.
Oh, you
But
don't want to
yeah,
drink that water.
I'm not the swimmer.
Yeah.
Only for
Nobody
that
is.
event.
That's
and only
proud.
for you.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would be
thank
honored
you.
to be on Mark's team.
Oh,
I
that's
think
sweet.
It'd be great.
He I'm sure he would be
Yeah.
feeling the same being on your team too.
Yeah.
So yes,
Awesome.
I love
Thanks
it.
again,
I'll cheer
Allie.
you on. I don't do
Thank
that kind
you.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
there you go.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yes.
See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Allie, for sitting down with us in the Ivoclar ballroom. It was really great catching up. I just love you and your husband. You guys are super amazing. And I'm really pleased to hear that Mark is doing well, both professionally and personally with his health. And I've seen you guys on Facebook. Mark looks super happy. He's doing a ton of posting. All of the time on this podcast and online, people mention how hard it is to find quality lab technicians and how nobody's teaching it anymore. Well, here she is, Allie, and she's killing it. Just think, you can be a technician looking to grow personally or a whole department in a lab looking to improve the quality of your work. Allie can do it all. Just go over to dlttraining.com to see all of the amazing programs that she has to offer. I'm super excited for the CDT Study Club because I know my son and several people here in the laboratory want to take their CDT. So it's a really great resource for anybody looking to get their first CDT or maybe their next one. And Elvis, I think you're going to do yours too. So
Maybe.
we can teach you. You know she can teach anybody. And I'm going to say, just saying,
Nice.
love you both.
Awesome, everybody. We appreciate you. Join us next week for more recordings from Lab Day Chicago.
Yay.
We'll talk to you then.
Have a good week.
Bye. I just learned to hit record right away in case we say something funny.
Well, we usually do.